as we have such a global audience, it's always great to hear that. We have some people from Malta, France, UK, Norway, Sweden, France, UK again, Barcelona, South Africa, Germany, Finland, God, everywhere in the world, Portugal, South Korea, amazing. Thank you so much all guys for joining. We have some people connecting from India as well, Ireland. Thank you so much. It's great to have you here. We're so happy to kickstart this webinar with our main sponsor, Decathlon. Thank you so much for being here, and we're honored to have Rodica-Marinela, who is recruiter at Decathlon in Romania. And we have Garcia, who is talent acquisition in the UK. Thank you, Rodica and Aya, for joining. We're so happy to have you here. And Rodica and Aya will provide you insights about their own journey within Decathlon. So you hear all about the Decathlon secrets and what it looks like to be working at Decathlon. So don't miss that. And I encourage each of you to open up your cameras and join us, in this interactive session. Let's make it a conversation and not a presentation. And I know there might be some quizzes as well, so be engaged and interact. Also, it's a great opportunity for you to shine and to boost your personal branding. So take advantage of being in front of Rodica and Aya today. And at the end of the presentation, don't hesitate to ask some questions directly, maybe if you feel comfortable with your camera and mic open. So without further ado, Rodica and Aya, the floor is yours, and thank you so much again.
Thank you so much, Perrine, for the introduction. Hello, all. I'm so happy to see such a big crowd, 100 people. I don't know if I have to be nervous because there are so many eyes on me, but I will try to do my best. Today, I will present alongside my colleague Aya about Decathlon, about our journey here. And as we like to say, here is a place where careers let you play. I will start with our history, with Decathlon history. So everything here started in 76, when a man loses a job as a butcher in Auchan. You may ask, why Auchan? We are talking about Decathlon. Why he loses his job? Did he stop there? I will answer only to the third question, because no, he didn't stop. That man was Michel Leclerc, the Decathlon, the founder of Decathlon. He didn't stop there. He established a purpose, an objective. And what did he do? He teamed up with 6 athletes to create a new concept. And as you can see, I am here. So indeed, he succeeded. He managed to open in the same year the first store in Lille in July. I've seen that are a lot of people from France, so it's happy for us to see that they are still interested in Decathlon. Okay, they didn't stop there. After 10 years of hard work, Decathlon managed to cross the border. And in 86, we managed to open our first store in Germany, in Dortmund. Of course, that's not the only thing that we did in 86, because we are hardworking people. So in the same year, we create our first bike. It's the start of our own production and the start of a long history. You might ask, why a long history? Because we didn't stop. We are still working. And after another 10 years, we were able to launch our first fashion brand. As you can see, here is Quechua and T-board for hiking and swimming lovers. This is where all started. Of course, we are creative and we are still working. And in 2005, after 9 years, we were able to launch our first iconic 2-second stand. if it's someone here that didn't know about that tent, how you do it? You take the tent, you open, and poof, it's almost done. You still have to put the tent pegs and ropes, unless you want to have a different view when you wake up in the morning. But this was the product that symbolized the innovation process throughout the company. And we are still working. We have a lot of products like that. We have the snorkeling mask and so on. We are hardworking people and we did not stop. We continue and we develop. And now we are in 58 countries. We are all over the world. We have over 1,000 stores and over 86 nationalities. I've seen already a lot of countries, and that you spam the chat, and I'm happy to see a lot of people here. Okay, so this is about Decathlon, about a man that has a purpose and he succeeded. But what about the inside? What about our purpose, our mission, our values? Of course we have it. And in Decathlon, now we have 4 values. And as Perrine said, this is a word from an insider. When we hire, we tend to look for people that have these values. Not, let's say, all of them, but some of them. And I will start with vitality. Vitality. When I say vitality, I say that I dare, I take initiatives, I change when it's necessary. And the most important thing about vitality, I play to win and not simply not to lose. And this is, vitality is about being positive and full of energy. And if you enter a store, you'll see a lot of people with a lot of energy. Generosity. Here is about being a team player and sharing the information that you have with others. And I might say this is let's say, an important one, because here in Decathlon, we raise each other's. We share the information. And when I say generosity, I say that I take care of myself, but as well as the others. Okay, we have another one, responsibility. When I say responsibility, I say it's about being accountable. It's about being the main player in your own life. When I make errors, I correct them. It's okay to make mistakes, and we understand that because we learn from them. I measure the value I created, and I make sure it grows. And the most important one, I say what I am going to do, and I do what I say. This is very important for us. And not the last one, the 4th one is authenticity. Here is about being yourself, being creative, being true to yourself and the others. In Decathlon, we are a lot of sort of people. And we don't really say look for a person with every values, because we are a team and we need to complete each other's. I will give you an example, and not about our store. I will give one example with a boat. When you are, let's say, in a cruise with on a boat, you need a lot of people. You need, let's say, a leader, the captain. We need it. He's a responsible one. But as well, we need a person that is creative, and it will help us in case we drown or something bad happens. But we need a responsible one to check all the things so that we don't get in the bad situation. And of course, we need an energetic one, a positive one, and as well team player, so that can help us. This is about our values, and it's important for us. Don't be afraid if you need to work on one of that, because we are unique in any way, and we can all work on each other anytime. Okay, I talked about history. I heard my voice a lot. I talked about our values. What I can talk about now? The mission. The mission is to make sport yours. And we are trying to help people in every country, every corner, to be able to play sport. And of course, our aim is to move people through the wonders of sport, to enable everyone to embrace sport on their terms, to live healthier and happier lives. Now I have a video and I hope it would work because I want to share something about our company and our purpose. Just a second. To be honest, I'm new with Zoom, so you'll have to give me a little time so I can see if I can share with you. Just a second. Okay. You are able to see it?
We can see it.
Perfect. Perfect.
Wake up, bud. It's today.
Come here.
We dream of improving people's lives through sports. We dream of a company built on the smile of its team members.
No matter your culture,
No matter where you come from.
or your difference of ability.
No matter your fashion,
No matter your gender.
no matter your religion,
or your education.
We have the freedom to decide.
To be responsible.
have fun!
Break the weak, not to lose.
Be the game.
We play the sports we love.
Look, Mom, we made it!
A sport for the many is the cause we fight for.
We are sports users for users. We are Decathlon.
Perfect. That's the best way to describe our mission. And to be honest, I always love that video, and I always hum for a few hours after that, because that song is so catchy for me, and I love it. It describes exactly what we are fighting and working for. So all people all over the world can practice sport and try every sport. Okay, so we talked about everything, history, values, mission, and our purpose. But to be honest, now I'm thinking, why should we choose a career in Decathlon? And now I'm gonna let my colleague to say a few ideas to about why you have to choose Decathlon. Please, Aya, you have the mic.
Thank you so much, Rodica, for that introduction of the company. I was wondering if maybe you can go back to the previous slide. Thank you. So before I move forward, gosh, it's such an international, it's such a big group. So welcome everybody again to the exchange. And yeah, it's just so amazing to see everyone from all over the world, in fact. And maybe before I begin, because Rodica did such a great job giving you a glimpse of how Decathlon operates. And, it's not very easy to do it in just a couple of minutes. So I was quite curious. I'll drop a little poll on the chat right now. And maybe you can share a little bit about which area of Decathlon so far, based on what you found out in the last couple of minutes, excites you the most. So before I move forward with the career considerations, I just dropped the poll over there, and maybe you can drop the color of the heart that resonates with you the most. We'd love to see and hear from you on that. And okay, so exactly now, the big question that we would normally get asked really is, okay, Decathlon, as a customer as well, we're quite interested to understand the business from behind the scenes. So why exactly should we consider Decathlon? And for me, I tried, working in talent acquisition, coming up with this formula of maybe 5 sentences or 4 to really highlight what it means to work in Decathlon. And what I'll be presenting in the next couple of minutes, in fact, are global ideas. And we'll support this with maybe the story that Rodica and I have. We've been in the company for several years, and I think it's the best example to make things more tangible. So I think, what does it really mean to work at Decathlon? The first part is, Rodica, maybe you can go to the next slide, please. Thank you. Every single day, every single working day, you will always have the chance and you will always have this opportunity to really move lives through the wonders of sports. Whether you work in retail, wherein you can actually have a firsthand experience to make sports accessible through experiences or products, or whether you work, let's say, in HR, providing active careers for active people, or you work in e-commerce or whatever part of the business it is, you will always find an opportunity to really move lives through the wonders of sports. So that's the first one. Can we go to the next one, please? Thank you. And I always have believed and I always have observed that there is no individual experience in Decathlon. You will train, you will learn, you will understand things, you will fall, you will lose, and eventually win all together all the time. You will always have your experiences in a collective or in a dual manner. The second part, thank you. And you will have this very unique opportunity to take responsibility and ownership of your progression from the starting line. And you will understand this when we share our stories. But honestly, from day one, if you have the willingness, if you have the dedication to raise your hand and say, this is where I want to go after one point, if I really want to grow within Decathlon, you will have that opportunity, and our leaders are well equipped to also support you with that. So really, you have this very unique responsibility and opportunity to take ownership of your progression from day one. And you will always have the chance to create your own adventure. And regardless of where you are, the culture of the company tied with the same purpose and tied with almost the same values as everybody makes you feel like I actually fit here. You will realize from my story later on also, because I'm not from the UK, but I am based in the UK now. It was very quick for me to find the place. In fact, even before day one, I was still working remotely in the Philippines, and I already felt like, hey, I actually belong to Decathlon UK as well. And you realize very quickly that it's also because of this sync from the values and the common purpose that we share, and something that Rodica spoke about earlier as well. And on the last slide you will have in here, you have all of these experiences, all of these propositions, while having the chance, or while given the chance, really to take care of the people around you, but also the planet that we live in. You will always have your back covered by your teammates, but at the same time, every single job that you have, whether your role is in retail, in service, or in logistics, you will have that unique opportunity as well to find ways to take care of the planet that we live in and the people that we're surrounded with. So these are kind of like the common ideas and the common propositions, the key experiences that each of us will experience if we work in Decathlon or through a Decathlon career. But again, they're quite abstract. So maybe we can make them a bit more tangible and imaginable if we go through the stories. So I was wondering, Rodica, would you be happy to share your story now? I think it's a perfect moment.
Yes, thank you, Aya. I'm a little nervous, to be honest, to share my story. I will try to make it really short. I'm not gonna say when all started, when my mom met my dad. I'm not starting from there. My story in Decathlon, I will tell. In the first photo, you will see me in a lab. I know it's not Decathlon, but that's where all started. It's me in a lab because I was at university at biotechnology, and doing what I really loved. Because I don't know why I loved that at the moment, because I think it was quiet and peaceful, and I had the chance to create things. But everything changed in that summer because I decided I wanted to take a job for the summer for 3 months. I heard about Decathlon. I applied. I got an interview. And watching back, I don't know how I got it because I was so shy and nervous back then. But someone saw something in me and gave me a chance. So in the second picture, you'll see me with my new colleagues with scooters. That was my first team meeting. We do this every month. And as I think you'll say, okay, team meeting is about numbers maybe, or good points or bad points. Why are you upset? That was my thought back then. And we did that at the beginning of the meeting. And after 1 hour, we had the chance to do sport together. And we were going to a park. I might say that it helped me a lot because I had the chance to connect with my colleagues, to see them outside of the store and to learn about them. I know I said that I wanted for only 3 months, but here I am, so I am a liar because I decided I want to stay in Decathlon a little bit longer. And after 1 year, I decided that I have to put my lab coat on a hanger and to try to give Decathlon a chance. And that's the moment when everything changed for me. I decided to move to a full-time program, full-time job. And it's perfect. Do you hear me now?
Yeah, okay.
Perfect. Thank you. So I decided to work on myself, and I had the help of my manager. I might confess, I was, as I said, shy, and I couldn't have a conversation, a serious one, with a person. I couldn't have the eye contact with someone because I will turn into a tomato. I will be all red. So we decided that I need a mission. And that mission was to be responsible for every newcomer in our store. And I did that for 150 people. Yes, I did count it. And it was a very, very good challenge for me because it really helped me to develop my communication. And in the third photo, you'll see me with the group of people that I took for a day, let's say. And no, they are not staying on their phone. They're doing a quiz because we talk about history and our values. I guess habits never change because today it was the same subject. But I did not stop there because Decathlon gives you opportunities to develop and to change. And because I was dedicated and so involved, they gave me the opportunity to become a department manager. Everything in the past was just a little bit scary. This part was terrifying because I didn't think that I was prepared for that. And I was responsible for 5 people and I needed to add more. So my job was to attract, to keep, and develop people. And this was the most scary and the most beautiful part of my career in Decathlon. And it helped me develop the most, this part. My mission, to be honest, when I had a team, was to make them independent, to give them all the information. And the most beautiful, beautiful part was to see them grow there. And my personal purpose was to make the experience that I had in Decathlon even better if I could. And I hope I did it. Because last year in July, I had another opportunity to develop myself. And I accepted because I needed to work on myself and I needed another perspective for another person. So I led the team with a heavy heart, I may say. I'm still talking to them, but it was really hard for me. But I need to develop, as I said, myself. So I accepted. And since last year in July, I'm a recruiter. In Decathlon, you'll see that it's beautiful and you can do a lot of things if you are motivated and dedicated. But I might say as well that it's a lot of work. It's very demanding here. If you see a Decathlonian, you'll see a person, a multitasking person, because we are multitasking, we do a lot of things. But at the end of the day, we are happy and we are eager to go again to do a lot of work. And indeed, Decathlon raised me and made me who I am today. If you'll ask Rodica from 2018 to do this, to be in a webinar, she will say no without thinking twice. She will be, no, I'm going to go and do something else. I'll take my coat and I'll go in the lab. But Decathlon helped me to do this. And not only that, it helped me rediscover my sports side. I rediscovered hiking again, and I tried new sport this year. I added swimming to my list, and as you can see now, I've made a lot of sport with my colleagues, with my friends. I even tried fishing. It's not first on my list. And now, if you want, I want to see on the chat what are your passion sports, let's say, so, or the sport that you practice the most. Let's see if we have here hiking lovers. Box, wow. And no, fishing lover. I know it's not that likable, I know. Jogging, wow. Wow, thank you so much. A lot of sports here and a lot of active people. I love to see that.
It's like Perfect. We can create some sports team from this group, huh?
Yes, it's so nice to see that. This was my sport in Decathlon, and I am grateful for everything that happened in my career. I will not change anything, and I encourage you to try, let's say not away from Decathlon, but try to think out of the box and to get out of your bubble, of your comfort zone, because it will help you a lot. Now, because this was my story, I need to let Aya to tell her story, which is an interesting one. and I can wait to see all the pictures that she prepared for us. Please, Saya.
Thank you, Rodica. It's a very inspiring story. In fact, maybe one thing that I wanted to share, because one of our values is also about authenticity. Rodica and I met each other for the first time last week, Thursday, and honestly, we've been working quite closely together to prepare for this exchange and this presentation. And now I feel like I've known her for the last 2 years. So again, this is such a good example of how a lot of the dynamics that you will encounter if you do start working in Decathlon. So maybe just to formally introduce myself, because we kind of like wanted to do a different method for the presentation when normally we would introduce ourselves. So yes, I was introduced earlier as Aya, and currently the talent acquisition leader for Decathlon UK. As with Rodica, I love sports. I cannot imagine life without it. A lot of the things that I do, and I think one of the biggest reasons that I'm in Decathlon today is my love for sports. I grew up being a swimmer, and then I switched on to becoming a triathlete. So I do think I see some triathletes in the group, and also a very, very big ice hockey fan. So I like to say it's the best of both worlds. And you have in here that I am Filipina, so I started in Decathlon, Philippines. You will see my story in just a little bit, and now based in London. My job itself really is about showcasing careers that move people through the wonders of sport. So really within providing jobs for sport lovers where they can cross their profession with their passion for sport. And also I'm currently working as D&I leader, so really building a more diverse, inclusive, and equitable workplace. So for me, seeing everyone from all across the globe, having different cultures, speaking in different languages as well, and trying to find a very inclusive space for everyone, honestly, this group gives me so much energy for the day. And I hope you can feel this passion and this energy that I have for this. You have my QR code for my LinkedIn, so if you want to connect, it's there. But if you can press the next button, Rodica. You should also have my Strava. So in case you want to connect on Strava and we can give each other kudos on our sport activities, please feel free. And we can move forward. Thank you. Sorry, so this one has some animation, so you're gonna have to click every now and then, Rodica. Sorry for that. So I did start in 2017 as an e-commerce and digital media specialist. So like you, or like most of you in the room today, I started as an early talent. I started even before, while I was waiting for my graduation ceremony, Decathlon took a chance on me and did recruit me as an early talent. And eventually I did become the digital marketing lead. So this is within a year and a half of working, and of course, very intensive training and development within the company as well. So traditionally in Decathlon, because we were known and our roots really were built up in brick and mortar or in retail. So a lot of the transition or the development for service roles, such as what I have, traditionally would require a retail background. But of course, with the current labor market, with the current needs of our future talents, such as yourselves, this has changed quite a lot. So you have so many very rich entry points within the different aspects of the business, depending on your specialty as well. But of course, we also welcome general business backgrounds or management backgrounds as needed. If you can click the next one, Rodica, and the second one as well. Eventually, I did become the head of communications for Decathlon Philippines. So I did that for 5 years. And just about 2 years ago, I went over to the UK, transferred to the UK to become head of talent acquisition and D&I. So a little bit of a story or an interesting segue in here, because I spoke about the different propositions of a Decathlon career earlier. My background really was in advertising and marketing. I have a degree in marketing and communications and creative design. Now I work in HR, and for me, probably for the next decade, I will work in HR because I absolutely fell in love with it. And I'm doing my MSc in international HR and soon for organizational psychology. And I think, like, with Rodica, Decathlon had allowed me to understand so much more about myself and my interests. And if the company also didn't take a chance on me to move me from the Philippines to the UK, I never would have experienced or I never would have discovered this love and maybe this purpose that I have for human resource and really helping people find their careers, but also working on D&I. So the concept of zigzagging, but also, I insisted a lot on that mindset of, I had the opportunity to raise my hand and really say that, okay, this is where I want to go, this is what I want to do. And Decathlon really enabled me to do that. Of course, given the fact or within the condition that I also perform for the job that I am given. So I think there's that. And if there was one thing that was so consistent about my career, it's the people and the sport. So this is, I think, within the 40 years of existence of Decathlon, those 2 points have been so strong and it's just been so embedded within our culture. If you can go to the next slide, please, Rodica. Okay, so sorry thank you. Now we do a little bit of a transition here. You've had an idea of who Decathlon is, what's our operation like, what is our purpose, why are we here, why do we exist? At the same time, what do we offer as well as an employer, and how do we back this up with evidence, which is kind of like the experience that Rodica and I have had in the company. One thing that we wanted to ensure when we were preparing this was that you get to take away something that you can use as well for yourselves, even if you don't go and move forward with a Decathlon career. That's totally fine. But as a company, we also want to be useful. We want to, our purpose is really to move people. So we want you to leave with a certain key takeaway from the exchange. So maybe just one thing that I'd like to prepare or I'd like you to prepare would be some pen and paper. And I'll be discussing a little bit of a lesson, and we'll be focusing a bit more on well-being, on mental well-being for the next part of the presentation. Grab some pen and paper or any device that you can use for note-taking and try to look at the poll that I had just posted on the chat right now. Okay, so Rodica, if we can go to the next part. Focusing a little bit more on mental well-being, really, how important really is it when we look for a job or when we are starting to become employees? I don't know if you know, but about 76% of the workforce, the global workforce today, really experiences moderate to high levels of stress, primarily due to workload. And Rodica made such a strong point earlier about the amount of work that we may have. And the thing is today, with how fast the market is, regardless of which industry you will be going forward with, it's quite heavy and it's easy to see your workload come from 0 to 100 in 2 days. Let's go to the next one, please. And 77% of employees as well report burnout, often caused by a lack of leadership support and recognition. One thing that I've noticed, even with my MSc and becoming a leader or a manager in Decathlon in the last 8 years, was that oftentimes we take advantage or we take recognition for granted. And it's so important. It's part of our needs as human beings as well to be recognized for the work that we do, the inputs that we have and the outputs that we have as well. And if you go to the next one. And 1 in 7 employees face mental health problems, and many experiencing symptoms of stress, burnout, loneliness, especially among remote and hybrid workers. Post-COVID, the future of work, or in fact, the way that work happens, had quite significantly changed and transformed, coming from full-on office work to now remote, to hybrid, to flexible. So we have different methods of types of work that's available for us now. And while there are many positive or advantages to it, there can also be some impact to the employees that we have now and also for the managers that we have now. So coming around with this data, maybe the key takeaway that I'd like you to have is today, mental well-being is really something that needs to be taken care of, and it's something that needs to be talked about more often, not only through seminars or through experiences such as this, but also between peers at work, but also between managers and employees. And so perhaps you're wondering, okay, Aya, you're sharing a lot of these things, but what are you doing in Decathlon in order to ensure this? So if we go to the next slide, Rodica, that would be amazing. In fact, in Decathlon, you can display all of the 4 points. Thanks. We have this practice that had been alive for the last 40 years, and it's called an individual meeting. This is one of the critical ways and one of the key ways that we really tackle each decathlete's well-being. It happens between a teammate and their manager every 4 weeks, and it's a 2 to 3 hour meeting. Some roles would even require a whole day of individual meeting for once a month. So it's really a huge investment. And this is included for the KPI of each decathlon manager. So for instance, for me, have you done your IAMs or your individual meetings for the month? What was the quality like? What was the feedback of the teammate to ensure that it's really done right? And it has 4 parts, basically the pleasures and displeasures. What were the things that gave you energy, and what were the things that may have taken energy from you in the last 4 weeks? It's time to debrief your feelings, because if you feel well, you perform well. And your results and priorities. So what were the key priorities that you had in the last 4 weeks? What were the results and the outputs? And based on that, how do you rearrange your priorities for the next month? And how do you feel about these priorities? Do you think it's efficient? Do you think it's too much? What were the methods? Third would be the development plan. What were the actions that you've taken in order to develop yourself as a professional? And I say actions because not everything can be learned from a training. Sometimes you have to act on practical situations, such as what Rodica mentioned. Maybe 2 years ago, she wouldn't have gone on a talk like this, but now it's part of her development plan to build her confidence, to do actions as such. And last part is because we need to have a healthy dynamic. And in order for you to have a healthier dynamic, it's fair enough that you also give constructive feedback for your manager or for your support system. So what we're going to do now is, in fact, we're going to invite you to have a little bit of an individual meeting, and we'll guide you through that. So we'll facilitate it, and have your pen and papers and ready, and try to reflect about what's been happening, let's say, in specific projects that you've had on your own bubble. So let's say whether it's a dissertation for school, if it's a project with an organization, or if you're working at the moment, that's fine as well. We'll guide you through some questions, give you a couple of minutes to list down. We won't ask you to share unless, of course, you want to. But yeah, we invite you to do this exercise with us. Rodica, I give you the floor.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Jaya. I hope you are ready to play, because we are going to play a little bit and we'll do an exercise. The first part, as Aya told, it's about pleasure and displeasure. And I want you to write down the things that gave you energy and maybe helped you grow, and the things that made you lose energy. I think 4 minutes, 5 minutes, it's enough for you guys. Please let me know. In the chat, it will be easier. Or if someone wants to open the microphone, it's okay as well. Okay, so I will give you 5 minutes to answer this question, and then we'll talk about it. So Aya, let's see, what's the thing that gave you energy in the last, let's say, 4 weekends?
Oh, this talk is going to be definitely in my next individual meeting with my leader. Gave me a lot of energy. So, top. And you?
Same, the first one, top of the list. This will be. Yes, this will be. And I can add that this month I've been to job fair for people with disabilities, and it was so special for me. It gave me a lot of energy to meet a lot of such beautiful people and unique people, and this will be the second one on my list.
That sounds amazing.
Okay, I've seen that we have only 15 minutes, so we'll fast forward. Let's see. It's anyone that want to share with us the answers? Courageous one. You can open your microphone, not your camera, if you want.
Yes, good morning.
Hello.
Yeah, good morning. I'm Jeanne. I'm studying in France. And in the last few weeks, what we have in our classes is a lot of teamwork. So we work a lot in teams and group works. And I feel like for both questions, I have the same answer, which is what were the points that gave me energy in the last period was when I had like teamworks where the team were cooperative and we worked well and people were excited for the final result of the job. So this helped me to grow because in a certain way, I knew how a positive environment can be where everyone is implicated. On the other hand, there are also meetings or group works where people were not involved enough, so we had to try to carry them behind us. But of course, it is tiring. It makes me lose energy, but I would also say that also the bad things made me grow actually, because it teaches you how to interact with people who are maybe less energetic than you, less implicated, and make them feel implicated as you are. So yes, for both questions, it's the same answer.
Thank you so much for sharing your things that gave you energy and as well lose the energy. Thank you so much for your answer. We'll let Aya
Sure.
talk to you about the second part.
Thank you, Rodica, and thank you, Jihan, for that. I hope I pronounced it correctly. In fact, one thing that could be interesting for everyone as well is one thing that you will notice if you do this exercise quite often, let's say once every six or like once every month for 6 months, you will start to see some common patterns between things that give you energy versus what takes energy from you. And what could be a good way to utilize this is how do you surround yourself, or what actions can you do in order to surround yourselves with things that give you energy versus things, or how do you avoid those things that maybe take energy from you? For example, if I know for a fact that I function so good and it brings me a lot of energy to work with teams, on my most challenging moments, I can resort to my team, surround them around, or like surround myself with people so that I can also ensure that I can go through the difficult moments. So some things that you can work with when focusing on that. Now, coming back into the exercise as well, I think for this one, we'll give 1 minute because it should be simple anyways. You have the guide questions in front of you. Now, looking back into the last 4 weeks, what were the key priorities and the impact that they've created? And what will be your priorities now for the next 4 weeks? And be honest with yourself and be honest with the list in front of you. Do you have too many? If you have, let's say, 10 priorities, what could be the top 5 that are non-negotiable? And how can you pace yourself in order to not feel like, okay, I'm overwhelmed?
Hi, so I can answer this question right now. I am a student in France. I'm in my final year studying international business management, and as part of my program, I am studying for specializations and applying for internships and doing a dissertation all at the same time. So those are my priorities at the minute. Over the last month, I have been applying for several internships in France because that's really where I wish to work. And also in terms of and that's what I've been doing, and those are going to remain my priorities for the next month and several months. And in terms of prioritization, what I'm trying to do is I am trying to figure out when in the day I have the most energy and tackle the most difficult tasks during the times when I have the highest energy. And when I don't have as much energy, I try to take on tasks that require less mental effort.
Thank you for that. So normally, let's say we are on an individual meeting, some questions that could be asked as well is, okay, today the way that you are prioritizing, is it the method that works the best for you? Because psychologically speaking, there are also different types of prioritization. For instance, you have the Eisenhower matrix, you have your important but important and urgent, important but not urgent. So we can tackle this also. And looking into the tie or the link between your priorities and your performance is also quite important, but also the feelings. So for example, if some of the priorities are taking so much energy from you, is it worth it to maybe delegate them a little bit? Or now with AI, is there a way to automate some of them? So just some coaching posture as well could be practiced during the exchange. Thank you for that, Rishi Raj.
Rishi Raj, yeah, that's correct.
Thank you. Okay, let's jump on to the next question. Thank you, Rodica. Now, let's look at part 3. Again, 1 minute. Were there any training or learning or any actions that you've done in order to reinforce your strength or overcome your weaknesses in the last 4 weeks? So yeah, what are these actions that you've taken? Whether it's a training or, I don't know, I raised my hand for a project, I volunteered, and so on.
Okay, so good afternoon, everyone. Tola from Nigeria. So for me, my plan is to take the certification in project management, the project management professional, because that certification will enable you to manage projects properly. Because if you look at our career, virtually everything we do is in projects. So if you're able to manage projects properly, I'm sure you'll be able to, perform better and the weaknesses will reduce. Thank you.
Thank you so much. That's absolutely magnificent. So normally also during the individual meeting, depending on the priorities that you will have, let's say for the next month or for the next 6 months, we can ask, let's say I am your manager or your leader, I can ask, okay, is this enough in order to equip you with more than the technical skills, because project management will fall under your technical skills and competency. What else can we do in order to equip you with the necessary soft skills? Because, for example, if you would like to work on a huge project management, you will have to manage several stakeholders as well. So when we work with people aren't binary. So that means that you cannot have one skill to meet or one type of communication for one person. So can we equip you with other training paths or other development actions as your leader to also enhance your soft skills? So thank you for sharing that. Rodica, we go to the last part. This is an interesting part. This is where we can now start to challenge a little bit your professional, or not professional, but benevolent communication. Now, looking back into your support system, what constructive feedback could you give to your leader postures or like your leader figures, whether it's your professors, your advisors, managers, team leaders, in order to help them improve, but also to improve your working dynamics? And keep it simple. Keep it, let's say, 1 to 2 sentences, but also constructive. Does anyone want to share?
We have in the chat some answers. Yeah.
Okay, thank you for that. It's not always an easy one for this one. So we'll have to close this exercise, but you have had kind of like the overview of the question. So again, we encourage you to practice it, whether within yourselves or within your leaders. But for now, we need to close it on this part. And Rodica, I'll allow you to go for the next steps. Thanks. You are on mute.
My phone, my microphone. Okay, thank you so much for this exercise. And if you are ready to play, and you are ready to play with Decathlon, you can apply. You will have a form. You can write your data there, and we will send your application to the store that you want or the country. Please be free to apply. It will be a beautiful journey. It's
Why is your clock saying
sorry,
I
hear some
yes, it's weird
in the background.
I think the microphone, Rodica, it's we hear some.
Can you go air, because I don't know what is happening.
Yes, sure. I can have it. Okay, let's see. So basically, knowing that we'll also be able to share the link right after for the presentation or not, Perrine, but if there is a sum up, we've also linked a Google form in here just because we don't have a global career site yet. So it's on the pipeline. But for now, if you are interested to be included in our global talent pool or in local countries or projects, you should be able to do it within the Google form attached to this link. If we go towards the next one. Thank you. So today we have 3 subsidiaries, global subsidiaries for Decathlon International. You can explore several retail roles for almost all countries, actually for all countries, and then some service department roles such as human resources, finance, digital e-com, etc., and also logistics. So if you would like to learn more about specific roles, depending on the subsidiaries, you can visit different career sites as well within Decathlon Global. Otherwise, if you just want to be included again in the general talent pool, you can do it via the link that was sent by Rodica on the chat. And on the next one, please. So that is perfect. In fact, we do hope that the presentation had given you a glimpse of Decathlon, had inspired you as well, and that you can leave the presentation or the talk with some key takeaways that you can also practice as early talents. And more than that, regardless of where you would like to go, Rodica and I, on behalf of Decathlon, wishes you nothing but the best of luck, okay? Thank you.
I hope you can hear me. Thank you as well. It's been a pleasure for me, and the crowd was amazing. I've seen a lot of answers in the chat area. Thank you so much. It was amazing for me, and I hope in the future we will be colleagues as well.
Thank you, Rodica, and thank you, Aya, for this great presentation. That was fantastic. We learned a lot, and thank you for sharing also those personal journey that you had. It was really inspiring and for all. And thank you all for joining. The Global Fair continues. Take the opportunity to chat with the recruiters on the virtual booth on the event page and participate in conferences such as this one as well. The next webinar will start actually just now, and it's by Fairing, a leader in pharmaceutical industry, and they will share great advice and secrets on how acing an interview. So interesting topic as well. So don't miss that opportunity. And thank you so much, Rodica. Thank you, Aya, for this great presentation. We really liked it. Thank you. Thank you again. Have a great day, everyone.